Also into you presents Newlyweds game. Your partner has the day off and an empty house. How do they spend the day?
He would binge TV, nap, and cook a fancy meal for himself.
She would be reading a book under a blanket, sitting on the couch probably, or if she was truly alone and I was gone for work, for example, she'd probably just go home and see her parents.
What is their guilty pleasure?
His guilty pleasure is ice cream.
Do an appetizer. So essentially, as an appetizer, she would take a nap on the couch before actually going into bed.
What is their worst habit?
For worst habit, I couldn't think of anything, but there's definitely something. The only thing I could think of was that he touches his face a lot when he's thinking.
Her worst habit is probably ripping her fingernails off with her hand, and then without saying anything asks me to hand over my hand, and then she just deposits the nail on my hand. That's probably it.
What is the weirdest gift they have given you?
Weirdest gift was that he got me a Harry Potter Build-A-Bear, and when you click his little paw, he says Lumos, and it's Justin's voice recording.
I don't think I received any weird gifts per se, but I think my least favorite gift is for one of my birthday gifts. I think in our like second year dating, she got me like a U Waterloo long sleeve shirt and a U Waterloo t-shirt, and I was like, could you not have thought of anything else?
What was your worst date?
Worst date was when we went to Times Square on New Year's Eve, and we were so far back, we sat on the floor the whole time. We didn't get to hear Mariah Carey bomb, and then we fought about it afterwards.
The worst date I can probably think of was when we went to New York City for New Year's, and I took her there for to see the ball drop, and I knew she loved New York City, but waiting in line for or waiting for the ball drop for 6 hours around Times Square was brutal, and I think she wanted to give up even after like the first couple hours, but I was like, no, we're almost there. 5 more hours to go, 4 more hours to go, 3 more. And it was cold, and she hates the cold. So, I mean, it was so like anticlimactic that after the ball drop, it took a while. It took forever to get home because they had to marshal everyone through certain areas. And she pretty much wouldn't even talk to me for the rest of the night. And probably for the next like 4 hours while we were driving home in the car the next day.
What is your favorite feature about them?
My favorite feature about him is his laugh, his face, and that he's really patient and he's thoughtful. I couldn't think of like physical or personality, so I just gave you a bunch.
My favorite feature about Christine is that she's very lighthearted, silly, and goofy.
How do they tell you that they're in the mood?
So he will kiss my neck or hug me from behind. Oh my god, I hate talking. When he's trying to tell me he's in the mood.
She tells me when she's in the mood when the lights go out at night, and then she'll literally just roll over to my side of the bed touch my penis and say, "Oh my God, you're hard."
What story do they tell over and over again?
A story that he tells over and over again, I don't know, but any story from when he was out in Vancouver.
I don't really have a story I can think of that she tells over and over again, but let's just go with whatever she answers for this question.
What's the last thing you argued about? Oh, wump wump says.
The last thing we argued about was whether or not extending a work trip to see his friends was appropriate spouse behavior.
The last thing we argued about was not listening to each other when the other person is talking to you, and kind of, not giving your undivided attention.
What word would they use to describe your family? Spicy.
What word would they use to describe your family? He would describe my family as very close, crazy close.
She would describe my family as caring, giving, charitable, along that vein.
The house is flooding, and you need to leave ASAP. What is the one thing they grab?
If the house is flooding, he would grab his wallet first.
If the house was flooding, I'm not really sure what she would grab, but let's go with phone. It just seems logical because you can call for help. You've got, Apple Wallet, so you can pay for stuff if you need to. Just seems logical and practical.
One thing we will never agree on is WHATTTTTTTTT.
We'll never agree on who is funnier, me or him.
One thing we would never agree on is probably how often a son or daughter should visit their parents. I think I would see them once a month, and she would love to see them, I'm sure, 3 times a week if she could.
What is Jaitu's signature dance move?
Christine's signature dance moves, well, she's got many dance moves, I would say. I think she's got her infamous kitchen dance, but I think recently she's been doing this little butt twerk while at home.
Oh my God, I hate this.
What is Justin Yu's go to karaoke song?
His go-to karaoke song would be something Michael Jackson or Jackson 5, I think.
Country roads take me home to the place I belong.
When did you realize your spouse was
The one.
And when did I realize Justin was the one? So I can't really remember. There's so many little moments over the years. When he left for Vancouver and told me to wait for him. When I saw him with his parents for the first time, and I saw how caring and respectful he was. And every time he makes me laugh. And that I can just be my stupid self in front of him.
I realized it probably at the end of 2015. She's smart, she's caring, she's loving, she always wants the best for me. I can't wait to marry my best friend and spend the rest of our lives together.
Finn.